Welcome to Divine Reveal. Why does it feel like God forgot your address? Why does it seem like everyone else got the memo about breakthrough, except you? Why are you still standing in the same spot while others who started after you are already celebrating their harvest? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. The very fact that you clicked on this video at this exact moment while your heart is heavy, while your faith is hanging by a thread, while you're questioning if God even sees you, this is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. Heaven just broke into your timeline like lightning splitting through a dark sky. God is about to do something so wild, so unexpected, so far outside the realm of human logic that it will blow your mind. But here's the thing, it won't make sense to your mind, but it will make perfect sense to your spirit. You see, while you've been sitting in that living room of disappointment, wondering if God is even listening, He's been orchestrating something behind the scenes, something so massive, so unprecedented, that when it hits, people won't just see a blessing, they'll see His fingerprints all over your life. Right now, if your spirit is already stirring, if something deep inside you is saying yes, even though your mind is saying how, drop an I. Receive in the comments. Let the enemy know you're awake. Let heaven know you're ready. Here's what I need you to understand. Every rejection that made you question your worth, every delay that made you wonder if God forgot you, every door that slammed in your face when you needed it most, none of that was punishment. All of it was positioning. And before this message is over, you're going to see why your pain was actually preparation, why your tears were seeds, why your silence was strategy, and why what's coming next will be so undeniable that even your enemies will have to admit that the hand of God is on your life. Before we go deeper, I want to thank every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let that gratitude flow however your heart leads. But listen, what I'm about to share with you isn't just inspiration. This is revelation. This is heaven pulling back the curtain and showing you why you had to walk through hell to get to your harvest. Stay with me. Don't you dare click away. Your breakthrough is wrapped inside these next few minutes. How long have you been waiting in that same barren place, watching everyone else's prayers get answered while yours seem to echo in empty air? How many nights have you laid awake, wondering if God has forgotten your name, your address, your desperate cry for breakthrough? Why does it feel like you're invisible to heaven, while others who seem less deserving are walking in their miracles? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. That delay you've been enduring, that painful, suffocating, soul-crushing delay, it's not God's rejection of you, it's His protection of you. You see, you've been carrying this burden that God doesn't care, that He's moved on to someone more worthy, that your season has passed. But what if I told you that every single day you felt forgotten was actually a day God was working behind the scenes, orchestrating something so magnificent that when it finally breaks through, no human being will be able to take credit for it? Right now, you feel like Joseph at the bottom of that pit, betrayed by the very people who should have loved you most, abandoned, forgotten. left to rot while his brothers went home to dinner and comfortable beds. For 13 years, 13 long, agonizing years, Joseph watched other people get promoted while he stayed enslaved, imprisoned, overlooked. But here's what Joseph couldn't see from the bottom of that pit. God wasn't punishing him. God was positioning him. Every betrayal was preparation. Every rejection was redirection. Every delay was divine strategy. You've been like a seed underground, buried in darkness, surrounded by dirt, feeling forgotten and forsaken. But burial is not the same as being planted. A seed has to die to itself before it can become the tree it was destined to be. And right now, while you think nothing is happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Think about Lazarus. Jesus got the message that his dear friend was sick and dying. And what did he do? He stayed where he was for 2 more days. 2 days. Can you imagine Mary and Martha's agony? Where is he? Why isn't he coming? Doesn't he care? By the time Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Not sick, not dying, dead, decomposing, too far gone for anyone to fix. That's when Jesus spoke to that tomb. Lazarus, come forth. And the dead man walked out, still wrapped in his grave clothes, alive and breathing and whole. Why did Jesus wait until it was impossible? Because if he had arrived while Lazarus was just sick, the doctors could have claimed they healed him. If he came while Lazarus was dying, the medicine could have gotten the credit. But when a dead man walks out of a tomb after 4 days, only God gets the glory. Your situation looks dead right now. Your dreams feel buried. Your hopes seem decomposed. But God specializes in resurrections that blow people's minds. He lets things rot before he resurrects them, so that when your breakthrough comes, no human being, no system, no enemy can say they did it. What looked like God's silence was actually God's strategy. Every unanswered prayer wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Every closed door wasn't punishment, it was protection. Every delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing. God has been clearing the stage, removing the wrong people, shutting down the counterfeits. Because what he's about to do in your life is so big, so supernatural, so undeniably his fingerprint that when it happens, even your enemies will have to bow their heads and say, "Surely the Lord has done this." But here's what's about to shift everything you thought you knew about God's timing. He doesn't just restore what was lost. He doesn't just heal what was broken. When God decides to move in your life, he doesn't just bring you back to where you were. He catapults you so far beyond your wildest imagination that you won't even recognize your own life. So the question isn't whether God will move. The question is, are you ready for him to do something that doesn't make sense to anyone watching? You know what's been eating at you? You've been trying to figure God out with your mind. You've been analyzing his moves like some Wall Street executive studying market trends. But here's the brutal truth that's going to shake everything you thought you knew about how heaven operates. God doesn't move by your logic. He moves by his timing. And that timing, it's about to leave you speechless. Listen, I need you to understand something that will change how you see every closed door, every delayed answer, every moment when it felt like God was playing hide and seek with your breakthrough. God is not emotional. He's strategic. While you're down here panicking about the timeline, He's up there orchestrating something so precise, so calculated, that when it unfolds, you'll realize every single delay was a divine setup. The Apostle Paul knew this when he wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, "Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love Him." Do you hear that? Your eyes haven't seen it. Your ears haven't heard it. Your heart can't even imagine what's coming. But why? Why would a loving God let you wait until your faith is hanging by a thread? Why would He allow the pressure to build until you feel like you're about to crack? Here's the answer that's going to blow your mind, because what He's preparing for you cannot be earned, cannot be explained by human logic, and absolutely cannot be duplicated by man's effort. It has to be supernatural. It has to be undeniably God. Think about this for a moment. If your breakthrough came when everything looked perfect, when all the conditions were right, when you had all your ducks in a row, who would get the credit? You would. Your education would. Your connections would. Your strategy would. But God refuses to share His glory with your resume. So He waits. He waits until it looks impossible. He waits until the doctors say no. He waits until the bank says no. He waits until your own family starts questioning your sanity. Because when God moves in the impossible, there's only one explanation, and His name is Jesus. I want you to picture something with me. It's like heaven has been building a skyscraper underground. For months, maybe years, all you've seen is the construction site, the dirt, the mess, the chaos. Every day you walk past thinking, nothing's happening here. This is taking forever. Maybe they abandoned the project. But deep beneath the surface, foundation after foundation is being laid. Steel beams are being positioned. Electrical systems are being wired. Elevators are being installed. And then one day, suddenly the entire structure rises from the ground. 50 floors of architectural marvel where yesterday there was nothing but dirt. The whole city stops and stares because nobody saw it coming. That's what God's been doing in your life. Underground construction, invisible preparation, strategic positioning. But here's the question that's probably burning in your chest right now. Why would God wait until it looks impossible? Why would He let it get worse before it gets better? Why does He seem to show up at the last second, when you're hanging over the cliff by your fingernails? I'm going to answer that question in just a moment, but first I need you to understand something that's going to change everything about how you wait. This delay you're experiencing isn't God being slow, it's God being surgical. Every day you've been wondering, when, Lord? He's been positioning pieces on a chessboard you can't even see. Your enemies think they're winning. Your circumstances look like they're deteriorating. Your bank account might be shrinking. Your health report might look grim. Your relationships might be crumbling. But what if I told you that every negative report is actually a setup for a testimony so powerful it's going to leave your critics speechless? What if the reason God is waiting is because the blessing He's prepared is so massive, so unprecedented, so far beyond what you asked for, that you needed to be strengthened first? What if He's been building your capacity while you thought He was ignoring your request? The truth is about to hit you like lightning, and when it does, you're going to understand why the wait was not only necessary, it was mercy. Because what's coming next is going to require a version of you that only this season of pressure could create. Now listen to me, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake every doubt that's been whispering in your ear. You think God is late. You think He forgot about your situation. Let me take you to a dusty road in Bethany where Jesus did something that looked absolutely insane to everyone watching. Mary and Martha sent word to Jesus, "Lord, the one you love is sick. Their brother Lazarus was dying." These weren't strangers. This was Jesus's inner circle, his close friends. And you know what Jesus did? He stayed where he was for 2 more days. While Lazarus was fighting for his life, Jesus didn't move an inch. Can you imagine? The phone call comes in, your best friend is in the ICU, the doctors say there's no hope, and you stay put. That's exactly what Jesus did. And here's the part that will blow your mind. The Bible says He did it on purpose. Why would the God who loves you let your dream flatline? Why would He let your marriage die? Why would He watch your finances crash and burn while you're crying out for help? Why does it feel like He's taking His sweet time while your world is falling apart? Because God doesn't just want to heal what's sick. He wants to resurrect what's dead. You see, if Jesus had shown up while Lazarus was just sick, people would have said, "Well, He's a good healer." But when He showed up after Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, when the body was already decomposing, when hope wasn't just fading but buried 6 feet under, that's when God gets all the glory. Your situation isn't just sick right now, it's dead. Your business isn't struggling, it's flatlined. Your relationship isn't just rocky, it's stone cold. Your health isn't just concerning, it's critical. And everyone around you is saying the same thing. Martha said, "Lord, if you had been here, this wouldn't have happened." But Jesus looked at that tomb and said 5 words that changed everything. "Lazarus, come forth." And a dead man walked out, still wrapped in his grave clothes, breathing again, alive again, impossible again. Here's what's happening in your life right now. God has been letting things die that needed to die so He could resurrect what He always intended to bless. He lets the music stop completely, so when the encore hits, there's no question who's conducting the orchestra. That job that let you go, it had to die. That relationship that broke your heart, it had to die. That old version of yourself that kept settling for less, it had to die. Because God isn't interested in CPR, He's in the resurrection business. And right now, in this very moment, I can feel it in the Spirit. God is standing at the mouth of your tomb, and He's about to speak life over every dead thing in your life. Your finances that have been buried under debt, resurrection. Your health that the doctors wrote off, resurrection. Your dreams that everyone said were impossible, resurrection. If you've been in a Lazarus season, if you've been wondering if God forgot your address, if you've been staring at the gravestone of everything you thought was over, type resurrection right now. Type it because God is rolling the stone away. Type it because what's been dead too long is about to breathe again. Can you feel it stirring? That thing that's been buried is starting to move. The grave clothes are loosening. The stone is shifting. What everyone wrote off as finished, God is about to finish differently. But here's what Lazarus teaches us about God's timing. He's never late, but He's rarely early. He shows up at the exact moment when only he can get the credit. And when he moves, it doesn't just change your situation, it changes your testimony forever. The question isn't whether God can handle your dead situation. The question is, are you ready for the kind of miracle that makes the whole neighborhood talk about God? But let me tell you about a man who knows exactly what you're going through right now. His name was Joseph. And if you think your story is over, if you think God has forgotten your address, you need to hear what happened to this chosen one. Picture this. Joseph had dreams so big, so God-sized, that his own family couldn't handle them. Sound familiar? Maybe you've had visions, callings, promises from God that seemed so impossible that even the people closest to you rolled their eyes. Maybe they called you a dreamer, told you to be realistic, said you were reaching too high. Joseph's own brothers, his own blood, threw him in a pit and sold him into slavery for 20 pieces of silver. 20 pieces of silver. That's what they thought his dreams were worth. How much have your own family members, your own friends, valued your calling? How many times have they thrown your God-given vision into the pit of their own limitations? But here's where it gets brutal. Joseph didn't just face rejection once. For 13 years, 13 long years, he went from the pit to Potiphar's house as a slave, then to prison on false charges. 13 years of wondering if God was even real. 13 years of asking, "Where are you, God? Where are the dreams you gave me?" Can you feel that? That crushing weight of time passing while your promise sits in prison? Maybe you've been waiting 5 years, 10 years, maybe even longer. Maybe you're sitting there right now thinking, "I'm too old. I missed my window." If God was going to move, he would have done it by now. Joseph was 30 years old when Pharaoh's dream needed interpretation. 30. In that culture, most men had already built their legacy by 30. Most had established their position, their influence, their empire. Joseph had nothing but scars from shackles and stories nobody believed. But listen to this. Are you listening? In one day, in one conversation, in one divine moment, Joseph went from forgotten prisoner to Prime Minister of Egypt. Not gradually, not slowly, not through networking or playing politics. In one day, God flipped the entire script of his life. The same Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph existed the day before was now removing his own signet ring and placing it on Joseph's finger. The same Egyptian court that would have stepped over Joseph in chains was now bowing before him. In one day, his cell became his corner office. His prison uniform became royal robes. You've been like a bow pulled back in tension, haven't you? The further back they've pulled you, the more it's hurt. The rejection, the betrayal, the delays, the doors slamming in your face, every single setback has been pulling you further and further back. But here's what you don't understand. The further the pullback, the farther the arrow will fly. God has been stretching you in the secret place. Every tear you've cried in private, every prayer you've whispered when nobody was listening, every night you've wondered if you heard him wrong, that wasn't punishment. That was preparation. That wasn't rejection. That was redirection. Your pit season is about to become your palace season. Your betrayal is about to become your breakthrough. Your delay is about to become your display of God's power. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? In one day, God can flip the script. In one divine moment, He can take you from forgotten to favored, from rejected to respected, from hidden to highlighted. The same people who wrote you off will be the ones watching you rise. Joseph's brothers, the same ones who threw him away, eventually came to Egypt during the famine, not knowing they were bowing before the brother they betrayed. They came begging for bread from the dreamer they tried to destroy. Your betrayers are about to become your witnesses. Your mockers are about to become your messengers. The ones who said you'd never amount to anything are about to watch God vindicate every promise He whispered to you in the dark. But here's the question that's going to determine everything. Are you ready for your suddenly moment? Because it's coming faster than you think, and when God moves this time, it won't just change your circumstances, it will rewrite your entire story. The bow is pulled back as far as it's going to go. The tension has reached its breaking point, and God's finger is on the trigger, ready to release you into a destiny so big, so unprecedented, that even you won't recognize your own life. But first, you need to understand why God chose the most impossible route to get you there. Listen to me, chosen one. Before you close this video and walk back into your everyday life, I need you to carry 3 truths with you like armor against the doubt that will try to creep back in. First, your delay is not your denial. Every single moment you've spent waiting, wondering, and sometimes weeping has been God positioning you for something so precise, so perfectly timed, that when it manifests, there will be no question about whose hand orchestrated it. Your pain wasn't pointless, it was preparation. Your rejection wasn't random, it was redirection. Your silence wasn't abandonment, it was strategy. Second, God's methods will never make sense to your mind, but they will always make perfect sense to your spirit. When He moves in your life, and He will move, it won't look like what you expected, it won't come from where you thought, and it won't happen how you planned. But it will be so undeniably Him that you'll fall to your knees in worship, not because you got what you wanted, but because you got what you needed in ways you never could have imagined. Third, you are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not too late, too old, or too broken. You are chosen. And chosen ones don't get comfortable blessings. They get mind-blowing miracles that rewrite their entire story in ways that bring glory to God and hope to others who thought their situation was impossible. But here's what I want you to know with every fiber of your being. You are not walking this journey alone. God hasn't just placed a calling on your life. He's placed you in a community of believers who understand your struggle because they've lived it too. Right here, in this comment section, are thousands of people who have felt forgotten, who have questioned their purpose, who have wondered if God was even listening. You are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses who are ready to stand with you, pray with you, and celebrate with you when your breakthrough comes. Thank you for trusting me with your time, for opening your heart to this word, for staying until the very end. Your presence here tells me that your spirit is still hungry, still believing, still expecting God to move. If you want to stay connected to more prophetic words, more encouragement, more reminders that you are chosen and not forgotten, hit that subscribe button. Be part of this community that believes in the impossible and sees God move in ways that blow our minds. But right now, before you do anything else, let me pray over you. Close your eyes if you can, take a deep breath, and receive this blessing. Father God, I lift up every person who has watched this message from beginning to end. You know their name, you know their pain, and you know their promise. Right now, in this moment, I speak life over every dream that feels dead, hope over every situation that looks impossible, and faith over every heart that's been broken by delay. God, for the one who's been waiting 10 years, 20 years, maybe even longer, let them feel your presence right now. Remind them that you have not forgotten their address, you have not cancelled their calling, and you have not given up on their story. What you started in them, you will finish in your perfect timing. For the one who's been betrayed by those closest to them, wrap your arms around them right now. Let them know that you see every tear, you remember every wound, and you're preparing a vindication so powerful that even their enemies will have to acknowledge your hand on their life. For the one who feels too old, too tired, or too broken, breathe new life into their bones. Remind them that you specialize in resurrection, that you turn mourning into dancing, and that their latter days will be greater than their former days. I speak peace over their anxiety, strength over their weariness, and joy over their sorrow. Let them sleep tonight knowing that heaven is working on their behalf, that you are fighting battles they can't even see, and that their victory is already written in your book. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen.